All right, First Comics News is here. We are here with a metal living legend, I can say. Inside my metal, inside of me, my metal person inside of me is like jumping up and down. But here with the one and only Bruce Dickinson, best known, Iron Maiden. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. What a great place, honestly.
Wondercon here we're here at Wondercon, so I should say Wondercon in Anaheim. We're here, of course, to talk about the Mandrake Project. First two issues are out right now, 1 and 2 right here. Can you give us a quick little summary of what the Mandrake Project is and the genre?
Yeah. So it's a 12 episode. Every 3 months there's a new episode, so it's going to go on for another 2.5 years. And so it's a 12 episode trilogy. So 4 episodes, 1 book, 3 books, and it is the story of a group of people who are involved in something called the Mandrake Project. The Mandrake Project is a project which aims to scientifically conquer death. So the human soul can be identified, bottled, basically at the point of death,
Oh, wow.
and then reinserted into something else. That's the end of episode 1.
Oh, wow.
So now what? And the now what is what happens to the people as the project develops, because their lives don't go in exactly the way they planned. And there's some kind of fairly freaky things start to occur. One of our characters has some unusual abilities. And almost everybody has a secret.
Very cool. So it's like kind of a sci-fi horror, maybe some body horror kind of.
Yeah, there's a bit of body horror. I mean, it gets very adult.
Very adult. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe parents, before you maybe want to read just before you let the kids.
Oh yeah. Parents, they should definitely read this. Yeah.
So anything when you started this, I know it's been a project that's kind of years in the making. Is there anything now that you wish you could tell yourself when you started that you know now?
What about this?
With Mandrake, yeah.
Yeah, anything I wished I'd known. Yeah, I guess I wished I'd have known that comics were so different from any other medium.
Yeah.
Because it was not exactly a shock, but having done the synopsis to everything, having written the characters, having written, lots of the science behind stuff, having researched quite heavily, getting to write the script with Tony Lee, I thought I knew what was going on. And then as soon as we started writing comic script, I'm like, I am a bit lost here. Because it's so different to anything else. I mean, I've written screenplays, and novels and things. This is comic stuff is just different.
Yeah, I've had that with actually my own personal project. I write the script. I have someone else who helps me kind of chop it up to what it could be for a comic, because it's.
Yep.
I'm used to, again, like I was a film student, so used to writing like film
Yep.
style.
Yeah. So I wrote film style, and I realized that half of the dialogue is going to go in the dustbin with the comic, because comic dialogue, I mean, film dialogue is all about what's not on the screen.
Yeah.
It's not the obvious. It's not, but comic dialogue, basically punches you in the face.
Yeah.
That's crude, but by and large, it's true. It has to be. Reduce it and then reduce it again and then reduce it again. You might get somewhere close.
Yeah, and then more visual with the.
Yeah. I mean, so you can do things within a comic you can't do any other way.
Yeah.
Even film has to have a narrative quality to it. But in a comic, you can go from one universe to another universe in a page, and the audience will follow you. The reader will follow that. In a film, they're just going to go, I'm confused. Where the hell are we?
Yeah.
But in a comic, it makes perfect sense. So it's actually, I'm now excited to write comic strip because I'm starting to get a handle on it. And I know that because I talked to Tony. I wrote an episode the other day, or most of an episode the other day, and or notes on it, and said, hey, this. He goes, yeah, that's great.
Oh,
I went, and I thought there could be 2 pages. That's your big one. That's your big reveal. That's this. And he went, yeah, that's great. Yeah. I went, I might be getting the might be, maybe I'm slightly getting the hang of this, you know. But he's such a great guy to work with, you know. So I can, every time I work with him, I learn something more.
Oh, wow. Were there any favorite comic characters you had growing up that maybe helped influence you with writing the Mandrake Project or anything else, like anything outside of music?
There's a bit of Silver Surfer in one of the main characters, like Necropolis, who is just permanently pissed off. He's an orphan. He doesn't know where he comes from, obviously. In fact, one of his things is a search for identity, because he's a genius as well.
Yeah.
And he's not impressed by that either. He's not really impressed by anything. He's just obsessed with one thing, which is trying to somehow rescue his brother from the underworld.
So Silver Surfer was a big influence.
But, well, I'll say no more. He's tortured by a voice in his head.
Okay. Is there anything that you've been like modern comics now that you've been kind of following to keep you, I guess, keep you in the loop, or?
I just keep going back to Alan Moore, and he, for me, he's just like the gold standard. It's just like you aspire to coming up with something that's even remotely close to like a Watchmen or something else like that.
Watchmen, as someone said before, it changed everything.
It changed everything, and I keep going back to that and going. A comic it's like a focused dream world.
Yeah.
You know, when you're writing it, and so I don't want to focus on too many other people's dream worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You create your own.
Yeah.
You know.
It's your medium, it's your playground. So this is, I believe, your first convention in the U.S. to be at.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Have you done any like in England or in?
There's Sao Paulo. I've done the London one, and Sao Paulo Comic Con, but I got to say, this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the level of involvement in terms of the cosplay and everything is off the chart here. It's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. So wait till you see San Diego.
Yeah.
With everything you've done, you're currently doing, of course, there's Iron Man, of course. There's the brewery. There's being a pilot, being an author, podcaster, doing radio in the past.
Yeah.
How do you find that time to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to sit down and commit to Mandrake Project for this much time, or?
You stop doing the other things. Simple as that. So, I don't fly airplanes anymore, and I mean, there's a brewery. They brew the beer. I mean, I'm not in there stirring the mash, every morning.
Very true.
And so there's a lot of things that I develop that then go on to develop lives of their own, and they work fairly autonomously. So that frees me up to do what I love, which is singing and writing and watching old TV shows.
So I do that too. I go back your comfort shows. Yeah.
And being with being with my wife, which is like all of those things are like really important.
Yeah.
Especially being with my wife.
Yeah, exactly. So with everything that you have done, what is left to conquer? Like music, you've done, like I said, movies and podcasting.
Yeah, I don't think of it as I don't think of it as conquest. I mean, I think record companies do that.
Yeah.
Really, like, oh yeah, this, that, there. I look upon the sort of statistics that people throw around, like your record has sold this X, Y, and Z in different countries, and it's number blah blah blah. I was number 1 in Germany, and I was like, wow, that's cool. But what that means is that a lot of people like it. That's what it means. And all those, sometimes you get little prizes for being best singer for this album on different magazines and stuff like that. But what that means is that a lot of people like what you do and get something out of it. And that meaning is the most important meaning.
Like at the end of the day.
That's all that really matters, is that other people are out there and they're getting stuff out of your art.
Yeah.
And so I don't really think that has an end point. It's just, 'cause all I do really is tell stories.
Yeah.
And whatever I do, I mean, I'm telling stories in the comic, I'm telling stories in songs, I'm telling stories in screenplays or whatever I write. It's storytelling. And there are an endless number of stories out there in the world.
Yeah.
So it's never ending in a good way. And so I don't think of it as in finite terms, like, what do I do next to conquer the world? No.
Yeah.
Just, what do you do next that's authentic, that's real, that's, because all it is just stories that speak to people.
Yeah, very, very true. But again, with song, movies, Mandrake Project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, it's time we have now. But thank you so much, Bruce, for stopping and chatting for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been an honor.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is First Comics News. Go check it out. Mandrake Project, out with Z2 Comics. Thank you, guys. Thank you again.
With the amazing Bill Sienkiewicz cover.
There we go.
Hey!
All right. Thank you again.